Good evening, St. Lucia. Welcome to another episode of 758 Sports Talk. And we have a West Indian in our midst tonight. Unlike the captain, Darren Sabi was always late. Anybody who knows Darren Sabi knows. If he tell you 8, just expect him 8:40. If he come 9 o'clock, if he come quarter past, I mean, you should be happy. But of course, totally different guy. Went to Leones Comprehensive, so we have to be disciplined. I mean, Lou Ball, Ellis, these people will not tolerate you being late for anything. And so I was pleasantly surprised when, of course, my guest was at the studio even before me. So definitely a lot to get into tonight. We are streaming live on Facebook. We are on St. Lucia Sports Online. So good evening to our international viewers, our followers, because they were demanding that we go on Facebook. So it's on St. Lucia Sports Online on Facebook. So call a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that we're on Facebook. So just go to just go to St. Lucia Sports Online on Facebook and you'll be able to follow us and contribute there as well. We have one thing to get out of the way tonight, and I think it's very important that we told St. Lucia a little bit about this activity, because this organization, the swimming organization in St. Lucia, have been doing so much in terms of developing swimming, and there's an activity this weekend that we really thought that we needed to let St. Lucia know about, Miage. And to talk about that a little bit, I have on the line Miss Yasmin Tyson, of course, technical director with the Swimming Association. The no longer Swimming Association, but she'll tell you a little bit more about that. Good evening, madam. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Good evening.
How's everything going?
Everything's going great.
All right. We have an activity this weekend, madam. Of course, you guys have been working assiduously to get things going and working and partnering with the islands, the neighboring islands. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect this weekend.
Okay, this weekend we have what we call Miage. It's the swim meet with the French clubs. We have 91 persons, 91 swimmers from the French Federation coming in. They belong to the various clubs in Martinique. We have 5 clubs from Martinique, 3 from Guadeloupe coming in, and we have 5 clubs from St. Lucia participating, a total of 138 swimmers. They will be vying for the Miage Trophy, which is up for grabs. Last year's trophy was won by the Longvilliers Swim Club from Martinique, and they are the defending champions.
All right, that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell us a little bit about what went into the preparation for this activity.
Okay, this activity came about as a result of the agreement that was signed with the French club Longvilliers, and 4 clubs got together: Dauphin du Moule from Guadeloupe, Longvilliers from Martinique, and Pacoussine from French Guiana. Pacoussine will not be participating this year, so the 3 clubs are hosting the championships. We will also have artistic swimming, or what was previously known as synchronized swimming, a display by the Longvilliers swimmers at the opening ceremony, which will be held in the afternoon. That's Saturday afternoon. We start at 3 o'clock, and Saturday morning we start the event at 9 o'clock. The opening ceremony is Saturday afternoon, and Sunday we have the final day of swimming, which ends at about 12 noon, and we have a closing ceremony then.
Give us the start times again. On Saturday, what time do you start?
Saturday we start at 9 o'clock. We break Sunday at 12. We resume at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And on Sunday, we start at 9 o'clock.
Okay, in terms of our local swimmers, who are some of the individuals that we can look out for this weekend? I will certainly be there to capture some of the moments. And, of course, Carifta coming on stream. Who are some of the swimmers we can expect to see on this weekend? Okay,
we have some of our Carifta swimmers participating: Caitlin Polius, Naima Hazel, Nikisha, because it's a 15 and under meet, so it's more the younger swimmers that would be participating in that meet. Cara Charles, is also participating. Those are the names I can remember offhand.
Okay. Yeah, because there are so many little fishes, as we see in some of the images there on television. Of course, Swimming Association of the Year. Yasmin, tell us a little bit about how it's been for you guys from last year to this year, planning this activity, and tell us a little bit about the preparation for Carifta, what we can expect from our swimmers this year.
Okay, we're going all out for Carifta. We have a number of programs in place, preparation programs for our swimmers, mental training, we have nutrition, we have physiotherapy, and that's just for Carifta. The month of April is very busy for the association. Apart from Carifta, we have Anmiage, we have the Alia Atkinson Clinic coming up at the end of April, and the Rodney Heights Aquatic Center is also hosting its swim meet in April. So it's quite hectic, and it gives our swimmers a lot of exposure, a lot of opportunity to show off their skills and, assess their training programs and what have you.
All right, this weekend, I'm used to having the music and funfair when I walk in there. Are we going to see some of that in terms of atmosphere this weekend?
This will be one of the loudest meets St. Lucia has ever seen. The French is known for bringing it all, and we're hoping that our St. Lucian supporters can come out and support the swimmers, the local swimmers. Admission is $15 for the day. It's $5 for kids under 12 and $10 for juniors. So we're encouraging all St. Lucians to come out and support our swimmers and see what we have to offer.
All right, Yasmin. Any last words? The final thing you want to get out there, and just to encourage St. Lucians to come out to this meet.
Okay, we would like to invite the media as well. Come out. This is sports tourism in action. 2 weekends back to back. You will see what sports tourism is all about. We have that with cricket, however, but swimming, brings a different flavor to it all. So we would like to encourage persons to come out, get involved in the sport, and show their support to the swimmers and the association.
All right. Well, all the best to you guys. I know you guys work really, really hard, and of course, we'll continue to work all until this weekend. All the best to you. And tell Eddie on Monday he should call in as well. Let's have a conversation on some other things in terms of development and swimming. I know there's so much going on with you guys. All right.
Okay. Thank you much.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Good. All right. Of course, the technical director for swimming in St. Lucia, Yasmin Tyson. A lot going on in that area in terms of St. Lucian sports. Now we have a night of we're going to focus tonight on cricket, local, regional, international. Of course, we've seen some of the developments over the last week or two as it pertains to regional cricket, in terms of the shifting of the guard, the changing of the leadership of Cricket West Indies, and of course this has implications for a number of things. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to have a conversation with Mr. Johnson Charles. We would have to take a break to ensure that we get everything framed up nicely. We'll take a break early tonight to make sure that we good? All right, I've been told that we are good to go into it. I didn't realize that we were so advanced, but yes. All right, we seen some shots there, so we're getting everything set for you in terms of that transition. Junior in the building. Yes, so we've seen some developments, and a lot of the conversation has gone to what we do next. How do we move forward, and how do we as a nation in St. Lucia, how do we see cricket development as a nation from grassroots up? We're talking about all aspects of development, the grassroots program, the cricket competitions, the national team, the Windward Islands team, everything to do with cricket. And of course, we recently selected a team to represent St. Lucia at the senior tournament, the Windward Islands Goodwill Tournament, and that team was selected. I think they will be traveling on Wednesday. I got an opportunity to meet up with Mr. Alton Crafton on the weekend at the Ezekiel Joseph 40 over competition. We had a conversation on the field. Kimani Melius blistering 200 over there. So we're going to take in that interview tomorrow, make it part of our newscast in terms of their development and their readiness for that competition. All right. But tonight I have with me, are we ready, Junior? We good? Yes, I have with me Mr. Johnson Charles. As I said earlier, Leon Hess alumni. Welcome to 758 Sports Talk. Now, let me just give you a little joke. This guy always said to me that when the time comes, the first television interview he's going to have is going to be with me. And let me tell you, this man stuck to his word. For the first time in St. Lucia, Johnson Charles is here appearing on talk show. It is absolutely my pleasure. How's everything going with you, man?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
All right. Let's just talk briefly about certain things before we get into. You recently came from Pakistan, playing in the T20 League, the Pakistan Super League. Tell us a little bit about that experience for you.
It was my first experience in the PSL.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're playing against world-class bowlers. You know, it was quite a good experience, and I'm looking forward to push it a bit further.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about Jamaica a little bit later on because, you didn't, for the first time in CPL, you were not playing for St. Lucia. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But came back in St. Lucia. Now, I just want to get straight into a lot of the discussion when it comes to our national team. And a lot of St. Lucia was shocked. In fact, the region was shocked when the national team came out and from St. Lucia for the Goodwill competition, and Johnson Charles' name was not included on that team. From your standpoint, what actually happened?
Well, as everyone knows, it's no secret, I wasn't selected.
Mm-hmm.
But then we just have to get it out of the way that when Dave Albert came on the banter and said Johnson Charles did not come to training, that's why he wasn't selected. Fair, I'm surely, okay, that's right. But what I'm upset about is that he should have come out and said the whole story. Dave Albert and I spoke at the park, at the Mindu Philip Park, and I told Dave Albert exactly why I could not come to training. And that was at a police training session. I told him that due to circumstances at the moment, I do not have my Jeep, so I only have one vehicle, so I am the one to pick up my wife and my children. So I am unavailable to be at training at the time that they have said. So if you cannot come out and say the full story, then it makes no sense to make it look like I'm just not showing up at training. And now it sounds like Johnson Charles is bigger than cricket. No, that's not what it is. I've never been bigger than cricket. There is no one who's bigger than cricket. Cricket is bigger than everyone. So if you cannot come out and say the full story, then just don't say anything. That's how I see it.
Were you interested in playing for St. Lucia this time around?
Of course I was interested. Who wouldn't be?
All right. So I had to ask that question because, some of the conversation was that perhaps you were not interested in playing. Let's go back in terms of the team, because from what we knew, there was no competition held in St. Lucia. There was a final late last year in a competition that was going on. But in terms of
actually, to correct you, there was no final. The final has not played yet.
That
final is supposed to play against between
Monrepo and Central. And what happened actually in that? I think a team was late. Central was late arriving, and so that thing was sort of that is a confusion that actually occurred. So in terms of that is one thing I've explained to persons when they tell me there was actually a competition. From what I knew, there wasn't. But in terms of the composition of the training team, did you get a call very early on before telling you that you were supposed to come to trials and be on the St. Lucia team?
Actually, no. When I came in from Pakistan, the chairman of selectors messaged me and asked me if I am available, which I responded yes. Very short answer, yes. And then after that, I was messaged again by the chairman of selectors asking me if I am on island, which I replied yes. And then after I spoke with Dave, at the training session at Mindufili Park, he said to me, the chairman of selectors said to me that, okay, he will speak with Dave, and we will see during the week. And he couldn't see me during the week because I couldn't come to training. So, yes, they knew I was available because I told them I was available. So, if I say that I'm available and I'm not selected, then I can't do anything about it. But originally, I was not selected on the team. It's when I came to St. Lucia and they knew that I was in St. Lucia, then I was drafted into the team.
The conversation was you opted to play with or train with a police team as opposed to training with the national team. Why, if that is true, why was that sort of course of action taken? What about the training sessions with the police that appealed to you that perhaps you felt that you could have done instead of the national training?
Well, like I just explained, Kenson, it's not that I deliberately stayed away from national training. I could not have come to training at that time because of what I explained.
Okay.
Right? But if you ask me, police training is way more at a high point than national training.
Why is that?
Police training is way more organized
Than the
than
national
national training. That's what it is.
Wow.
And I want Hyde to say that. That's what it is. At police training, you would water is on time. You are uniformed. You get your food on time. You get your fruits. So if you're asking about professionalism, then police training is professional. When it comes to national training, if there is not a competition, how you expect the training to be professional?
Wow. So, in other words, from what you were saying, which this is the first time this is the first time I'm hearing this in terms of a training session by a subsector of a country being better or more organized, even in terms of things like water, than the national training. How is that?
Well, that may be the first time you hear it because people don't speak about it. You always hear from the president that everything is good. It's not. At one point, 1 year we boycotted a 2-day trial match, because there was no food.
A trial match for the
trial match for St.
team.
Lucia national trials. We boycotted a match because we had no food. Right. So, if you ask me, if it's professional, no, it's not. I'm going to talk about it because it's not right. And if you're president of a National Cricket Association, right, and you're not there to oversee these things, what for 10 years? What are you telling me you're doing? You're not doing anything.
I want to make sure I get this right, because we are sending a national team that is young players, players that, like yourself, would have come from a professional setting, and we're asking them to come to those trial matches and come to those training. There's so much talk about that, and at the end of the day, at the training sessions, things that are needed like food are not provided on occasion.
Well, you tell me, Kenson, if you were a 19-year-old and you don't get water on time or don't get food, and you're looking to make that national senior team for the first time, would you say anything?
No, probably not. I just want to make the team.
You would be skeptical because you wouldn't want to be kicked out of the team, and that's what it is. I feel probably that's why they selected that team, because none of the players on this team could really talk for themselves. But if I am on the team and I'm speaking about not getting water or not getting food or not getting water on time or not getting food on time, there you are.
You see, these things, you don't hear those things on. I'm telling you, you just generally don't hear it because, like, I guess, like you say, certain people don't speak about it. But overall, in terms of cricket in St. Lucia, you've come back, you've played in Monipo. I think there was a time you scored 180 since you've been back. You played little fringe matches in different places. is it you go to play those games? Is it as do you see it as the only means for you to actually stay on sound, considering that there is no organized national competition, or is it something that you just figure you just need to do?
Well, one, I figure I have to do it, because when you see how things are going, especially for me, I've been kicked out of the one-day squad, and I've been in battle with. I've been in battle with the chairman of selectors for West Indies, Courtney Brown. All right.
Why is that? Let's pause different places. Why have you been in battle with Courtney Brown? What's that story there?
Well, firstly, I'll tell you, it's something people don't know. But after, while we were playing the T20 in India, 2016, and you know, all that talk and all that stuff was going on
With the players?
with the 70% pay cut, and you know, we were sent to India with a shirt with no print and all that. You know, it was a whole set of stuff going on. And I remember we were in the semi-finals, right? And we were waiting for our bags at the carousel, and the president had just came up.
That was Dave Cameron.
Yes, had just flown up, and then he came and wanted to shake my hand, and I did not put my hand out to shake his hand.
Why is that?
Kenson, it's straightforward. If you're my boss and you give me a 70% pay cut with no eligible reason, there is no way I would want to work for you. To me, if I had put my hand in his hand, I would be a hypocrite. And straightforward, I did not do it. And I knew from that time, I would get the axe. I knew.
So you were dropped from the West Indies one-day team, then the Windwards team.
Yes.
There was a tour for the
From
Windwards.
the West Indies one day, then the West Indies T20.
Yeah, West
Now
Indies
I could
T20.
understand for the West Indies one day,
you
because
had
I
a couple of bad
two
patches.
bad series. So, like I always tell Sammy, if I don't perform,
Yeah.
I don't mind getting dropped, because I have to go back and perform to get back my spot. For the T20, our last series was in 2017, if I recall rightly, against Pakistan in Dubai. And the team did poorly, but I was the only one dropped. When I asked the chairman of selectors why was I dropped, he said that the panel felt that I was not informed. So from that point, I had to leave Dominica, because that's what I was training for. So I had to leave.
Then the Windwards team, I mean, you pretty much played for the West Indies team. You came from playing for the West Indies team. And then you were not called for the Windward Islands team.
All right.
So from your standpoint, what happened there?
So I came in from the West Indies tour, and I came in, three matches had been played, so it's 5 matches before Christmas, and then the other 5 matches after Christmas break. So I came in after 3 matches, so we played against Windwards. I got in about 28, and Windwards, you know, they were like 20-something for about 7 or something like that, and they declared, and we beat them in like 2 days. The next match was against Barbados, which we did not bat. Right, and then we went for Christmas break. Coming in from Christmas break, and we went back to Dominica. The CEO comes in to call the team, not the chairman of selectors. The CEO of Windwards Volcanoes comes in to call out the team, and I'm dropped. So I'm like, why? Why? I only played 2 games. 1 I did not bat. 1 I batted for 1 innings, and I'm dropped. But then again, you have to understand how things go. Like Emmanuel Nanton called Fletcher and I the Windward spokesman. They don't like us because we talk about things that affect us. You understand? So when you talk, people don't like you. Especially when you talk the truth. They always ask for the truth, but when you give them the truth, they don't like you.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
So you pretty much, at the Windward's level, there was no real explanation. Like you said, you did not bat, you put 1 innings, and then you were dropped. But for you, in terms of your interaction with most of the individuals at the Windward Islands level, what has that interaction been like? Because it almost sounds like there is more to that story, that somebody who's made West Indies, who has all that experience by now. You've won 2 World Cups, you've done well every league you've gone to. For you to be asked at that level, there should be more to that story, that perhaps,
Well, Kenson, you will have to see it to believe it, because you have when you see how the guys in power move, right? How they abuse their power. Then, even when you see it, it amazes you. Even if you know that that's how people with power move, when you see it, it still amazes you every time. You understand? At one point, we come to training and we get frozen water. Don't expect me to talk about that. I'm coming to what they call a professional setup, and I'm getting frozen water. You don't expect me to talk about that? You don't expect me to talk about Tropical Storm Erica hitting Dominica, and we can't train because the stadium is damaged, and then you force me to come up to Dominica via boat. You don't expect me to talk about that? I have to talk about it. It affects me. You understand? And if you say it's professional, then definitely I don't see any professionalism in that.
All right, we have a lot more to get into, St. Lucia. We definitely have to get through a lot of other things, but we have to take a break right now. And of course, when we come back, we'll continue our discussion. I have a number of messages already on a platform, and of course on Facebook as well. I'll get to that as well when we get back. We're going to take a break. Of course, Bank of St. Lucia, they've been doing their thing in support of local sports development in St. Lucia, and they've been really genuine and generous with their sponsorship. And so we're going to take in one of their bank notes, their financial tips, and we're going to go to a break. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Financially Speaking by Bank of St. Lucia, your guide to everything financial. The reality for many is that being able to save every month is not the easiest of tasks. It is, however, extremely important. Making a regular habit of putting aside just a small amount of your monthly earnings can put you on the path to being financially secure and provide a safety net in case of an emergency. Here are a few reasons why having a savings account can be beneficial to you. 1. Annual expenses such as vehicle and home insurance, vacations, events, or even Christmas and birthday gifts can be a bit of a strain on your finances. In some cases, if you have a vehicle or mortgage loan with your bank, you may be asked to open a special savings account called a cash collateral to assist with annual premiums. This account allows you to contribute monthly towards insurance payments. Being able to do this takes a weight off your shoulders when your annual expenses are due. The same can be applied for vacation and other annual expenses that may arise. The best way to manage these types of expenses is to save for them bit by bit in advance. 2. Interested in owning your home? It is important to set savings aside for this purpose. Financial institutions on average require a down payment which 90% of you will be expected to provide. There are options for savings towards your mortgage such as a home savings plan with monthly contributions as low as $100. By starting these type of saving plans early, you can be at ease once you are ready to purchase your home. Inquire with your institution today. 3. Emergencies are often unexpected and at times can be quite costly. You may have to travel on short notice, deal with a serious medical issue, or assist a family member or friend in need. Allocating enough money to attend to unforeseen expenses can prepare you instead of causing additional stress. Consider a savings account for emergency funds. Start a saving now. You will thank yourself later. Thank you for listening to Financially Speaking, brought to you by Bank of St. Lucia. All the bank you need.
All right, welcome back to 758 Sports Talk, and we're here with Johnson Charles. We've been having a conversation with some of his experiences on the national, regional, and international stage. Of course, a lot has been said in the last couple of weeks, and we definitely wanted to ensure that we give him the opportunity to clear the air, and we will be taking your calls very soon. Of course, you could continue to send your messages at 4880929, and you could definitely follow us on Facebook on St. Lucia Sports Online on Facebook. We are on. All right. Somebody says, Johnson, is it that the Cricket Association has no money to provide food and water? I think that's a rhetorical question. Somebody says the story is clear. They grudge players because of the money making. Because of the money they make play in other leagues. I guess let me read this again. The story is clear. They grudge players because of the money they make in other leagues. Somebody says the pay cut should have started with Cameron. Did he also advocate a pay cut for himself? Well, he's gone now, so there's that is a pay cut forced one. Somebody says, when I got selected for PSL, the same Gregory Shillingford refused to give me permission. I told him, let me tell you, that coming from somebody, I told him to pay me, and I'm willing to give the franchise $3,000 used on top of my contract. The reply was, if I'm going to give my wife $3,000 and choose to divorce, I brought it to Whipper Board. And I guess Whipper Board, that's a story on its own. Local cricket. Are you satisfied with the direction, the development of local cricket in St. Lucia?
No, definitely no. Like I said, there was a competition that started in 2017. Mm-hmm. The final still hasn't played. We're in 2019. Mm. Cricket has come to a point where even the younger guys, they don't even feel like playing anymore. Mm. Facilities wise, it's a problem. Like I mentioned before, food and water is a problem. Right? So guys are losing interest and losing taste to play. Mm-hmm. You understand?
All right. Well, sometimes I hesitate to ask those questions because people feel like it's either attack or something. But it would be remiss of me to have you and not ask you. You being that individual that stands his name after you, that means you've performed creditably enough. You've represented St. Lucia enough at a level that the government felt that it was well deserved. Julian Charles is the president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association. What is the relationship like with you and Julian Charles? And what is the relationship like with you and the St. Lucia National Cricket Association?
Well, as for me and Julian, we have no relationship. The only thing we have in common is the surname. That's all.
But why is that though?
You're the president of a national cricket board. 10 years, cricket has gone nowhere. Mm-hmm. Nowhere. So, if I was the president for 10 years and cricket is going, I would resign. Mm-hmm. That's what I would do. I would resign.
Well, perhaps he and his administration believe that they are going somewhere. I mean, in terms of your interaction with him, in terms of the cricket board, I mean, you are playing for West Indies. You were playing for West Indies, and I mean, there's a local cricket board there. Is there any sort of communication, synergy, communication? Is it a resistance from your side or their side? I just want to be fair to everybody. What is going on?
Well, to be honest, there is no interaction. There is no interaction. The only person I know, I think, is the underboard Brian Calix.
Well, he's the operations officer, operations manager.
Really and truly. Mm-hmm. That's the only person I talk anything about. And we don't talk that much in terms of cricket. Other than SPL. Mm-hmm. I understand. But in terms of St. Lucia cricket, we don't talk. When we have matches, you don't see selectors. I only know Keith Shallery as a selector. I don't know the other selectors. They don't show up to matches. So how is the side selected?
So, Michelle, I'm going to interject and say some things here, because for me, I think on some level that I'm hearing too many broken relationships with our players and with our administrators, and it is something that is not just intrinsic to cricket. You hear that from the other associations, you hear that from time to time, and you just wonder why is there that halikasi, for lack of a better way to put it. I had Darren Sammy, and Sammy pretty much said and voiced the same thing as you are voicing in terms of the interaction and that sort of thing, in terms of the support that they believe that they need and that sort of thing. And I'm going to send out an invitation to members of the St. Lucia Cricket Association, because it's only fair for me to give them their opportunity to come on set and lend their side. I don't want anybody to get the perception that this is going to be a one-sided conversation, because obviously at Sammy and I have Johnson right now who've expressed their views. I'm going to say something. I believe a lot of the times from what I know in terms of associations, in terms of how organizations should be run, especially when individuals are not employed, we tend to say, and even you said tonight, my boss. For instance, we said when Sammy spoke out against Dave Cameron, we said that you expect Sammy to speak out against his boss and to not get fired. And I wonder, even when we look at our political system, what's happening in St. Lucia? I mean, is Alan Shastney my boss? Is Leonard Montoot the representative for Grosvenor? Is he my boss? These St. Lucia are elected positions. These are elected positions. So Julian Charles is nobody's boss. Sean Alcindor is nobody's boss. So if at the end of the day you feel a need to speak, why at the end of the day there are repercussions for your speech, and the persons gravitate so quickly to say, are you speaking against your boss in public? Why is there that feeling that individuals who are younger tend to believe that they cannot speak out against injustices? Because we have that perception that when persons get in a particular position, because they are given a particular position and they are elected to a particular position, that they are your boss. Dave Cameron is our boss. It was West Indies and Sammy's boss, and then Sammy and pretty much the region decided to fire him. Who really is the boss? Is it them, or is it the affiliates and the individuals that elect them? Well, that's what I just wanted to ask that question in terms of getting people to think openly. What do you think?
I think, to be honest, really and truly, the players are the bosses. Mm-hmm. But we just don't understand that, because we don't like to get collective to use our rights. Because really and truly, without us, the game can't play. Mm-hmm. But it's always about, those in power. Mm-hmm. If I may say, the boards. You understand? They always believe that they are the ones in who controls everything. Mm-hmm. You understand? But
we make them believe that.
We make them believe that.
We as a society make these individuals, because we allowed Dave Cameron for years to operate like he was a boss.
Yeah, just like we allowed Julian Charles to do the same.
Well, you said you're the players. You
Exactly.
believe that.
I believe there is no age in coming out and speaking for your rights. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Once you stand up for the right thing, there is no age limit to come before that. But I take out myself. Society has made it that you, as a junior, stay out of the way and let the seniors talk. And that's what society has led us to believe. Mm-hmm. And we have just grown into it. So basically, we're practicing what we have learned and what we have grown learning.
Alright. Okay, so we're going to open our phone lines. We're going to take a break. We're going to take our final break. And then when we come back from our break, we're going to open our phone lines. And we're going to put the number up for you guys to call. We're going to take in some of your WhatsApp messages. Somebody's already calling, but no. We're going to take a break first, Junior. Yeah, we're going to take a break first. And then when we come back, we're going to take in your phone calls. We're going to allow you guys to converse with Johnson Charles. You guys don't often get that opportunity. So when we come back, we have more for you. To 758 Sports Talk. We're going to open the lines for you guys right now. We're going to put the number on the screen for you guys, and we already have a caller. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Yes, Brother Kenson and Charlo, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, before I make my contribution on cricket, I want to give DBS a little plug for a few seconds. This morning I was interviewed by Mr. Buski on Street Vibes. Mm-hmm. And I spoke out against homosexuality because many people giving their views to repeal the burglary laws from the Constitution. Mm-hmm. Now my name is Gaspar Henry and I'm a Christian.
Yeah, I know that.
So I think I'm entitled for my views, and I realized on Street Vibes, tonight, my views wasn't aired.
There are a lot of reasons that can happen, eh?
So that's one pointer.
There are a lot of reasons that can happen because
okay.
let me just give you that quickly and I'll let you speak, because I've had instances where I go to cover activities and you check your audio, you check your mic, you make sure it plugged in and everything, and really and truly you get to the studio. Even when I take out pictures, I get so much pressure from people who say to me, oh, but you took my picture and you didn't post it up and that sort of thing. But sometimes when you actually on site and when you actually put it on the TV, some errors could happen. So I am not sure that they might have decided to just not air your views. A number of reasons could have.
I trust you on that one. I thought my right for freedom of speech was taken away from me,
Nah, not DBS boss.
Yeah.
Nah. I can tell you not Dire Broadcasting
because the Archbishop, spoke in favor. Mm-hmm. People like Dr. King. So everybody views, have to be aired. But I want to fast forward into cricket.
Yes, sir.
I want to say to Brother Charlo that you are a young man that I'm proud of, my brother. Both you and Darren Sammy coming from a small nation, you'll have soared to new heights. And the reason why I'm proud of you again is because I love people that like to speak out against injustice. And you have to always remember that when you speak out against injustice, my brother, you have a price to pay. But once you see, you know that you are right. You must not cower. You must not cower. You have to stand firm.
Yeah.
And you see how God was able to, how God vindicate you all? Cameron is no more. Cameron is no more. So what I want from you all, like you, Darren Sammy, Chris Gill, you know, and the others, like Darren Bravo, and the spinner, Ryan. You know, I want you all to meet together and continue playing the game and being in good shape for you all to go and take back our trophy, man. That T20 trophy next year, you know? Yeah, man. And I want to tell you, my brother, that the right to freedom of speech, my brother, the right to freedom of speech, nobody gives you that. That is enshrined in our constitution, my brother. And once you see you express your freedom of speech with responsibility, my brother, and you see you correct, you must never back down. God will give you the victory. So hold strong, my brother. And Kenson, I think you did a good job in defending DBS, you know? Yeah, I think you did a good job in defending DBS.
I'm just saying what I know would normally come from my experience.
Homosexual thing. I'm very passionate, my brother.
Yes.
You cannot give men the license to go out, you know, and deal with each other. That is wrong. Proverbs say that, Proverbs 14:34, that righteousness exalteth a nation. After our country have so much things going wrong, for us to give license for homosexuality, we have to campaign against that. And that's my view, my brother. I am not supporting homosexuality. That's my view. God bless.
Check Alex next time, right?
Yeah, man. Peace
Thank
and
you
love.
for your
God bless.
contribution. So, of course, yeah, freedom of speech, freedom. What do you think can be done? What do you think our association can do to get things better in terms of cricket in St. Lucia? Okay, hold that thought for a little bit. We have a caller. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Yeah, good evening, Kenson.
Let me write that question.
What's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, Kenson, what Jono is saying there, I think I sent you a text anyway, but what Jono is saying there is so very true about this cricket association that we have running for over 15 to 20 years. And the same problem that Jono is having there, Gary Maffrey had that same problem with that cricket association and with the fellas that run the cricket. Gary was playing in Trinidad, all over playing cricket. When he comes down here, they need him to be there at training for him to be selected. That's Papi Show.
Why is that Papi Show though?
What? Why? Because, okay, but you all know the player whereabout. If you all don't know the player whereabout, that's another thing. You all in contact with the player, letting you all know where they are, what they're doing. You understand? Why the player has to be at training? Jono just come from Pakistan, playing a more higher level of cricket. If you already give your information what he's been doing, there is no, the man is a lead player. The man is a lead player. He don't have to be at just hey, listen, come in there. The same problem with he's saying about water and all sorts of things when they travel, they cannot get it on time. Those fellas have that feeling that for years and they ain't saying nothing. And they're not saying nothing. They're keeping it there. Colleagues, all of them that they involved in these fellas just feel the whole brunt. And they're afraid to talk because they do not want to be kicked out of the St. Lucia national cricket team. You understand? And so now Jono is feeling the full brunt of what has been happening for years. For years. So those fellas need to, we have those fellas inside there. Nobody is talking, nobody is saying anything, and those fellas continuously doing that all the time. All
right, thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was asking you, what do you think can be done to develop cricket in St. Lucia?
I think the whole board just has to change and look for people who actually care about cricket. Because if it's been going on for so long, then we can't be continuing with the same people. Understand? So it should change.
Good evening. You're live. Ready for contribution?
Good night, my brothers.
Good night.
Kenson, how you doing, man? Jono?
Yes.
Good night. Good night.
All right. And to all our viewers out there. Johnson Charles, coming from Pakistan, in 7 innings, scoring 208 runs. His best scores 57, 53, 46, and 41 in his last innings.
I have all that information over here. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
From Bangladesh, 3 innings, 55, 49, and 12. As he came down to St. Lucia, 1 week after, the guy played in Monrepo.
180.
He scored 181, not out. In 63 deliveries, that's murder. 22 towering sixes and 8 elegant fours. What do you need from this guy again?
He needs to be at the park of his team.
So, boy, so you have players like Johnson Charles, you have Kediles Porris. Kediles Porris is playing semi-professional in Trinidad.
Yeah.
He said he was available, and yet he cannot get a call up on the team. Why would you leave semi-professional cricket in Trinidad and come here, St. Lucia, and watch guys come and catch the balls and knock the balls on the grass and say I'm available? The guy is getting proper training, proper everything, first class everything, semi-professional cricket. What's better than this? You have another guy, Xavier Gabriel, our fastest, most accurate, most effective fast bowler here, pushing every guy's back, and he cannot even get a call on trials. So where are we going? I'm not sure about Dalton Polius.
Well, Dalton said he was available. I had one conversation, and from the information he did, Dalton is another one who's playing overseas, and from what I've actually reported on DBS, he's doing well. He's not doing too badly.
So why are these guys not included? Chairman of selectors, Keith Shalry, Kediles Porris has been in touch with him, sending calls saying that he's available. Why can't these guys be included in our team?
Now, Kola, I've heard some of the discussion that in terms of mentorship, that you'd want these individuals around. Now, in other sports, you have what we call foreign base. And these guys are foreign base players. You bring them in. That's the way I know it. You bring them into the camp, and when they are actually on tour, you create that avenue for them to speak with the younger players. That's what I know.
Yeah, but on this team we have Larry Edward. Larry is playing in Barbados. I agree. He don't have to be there to get selection on the team. He's doing well, so you select him. So why can't the other guys get the same treatment as Larry Edward? Because I wouldn't ask Eddie to come down here where he's going to play less cricket, where it's not that competitive, just to make himself available. He can continue playing his cricket and then come down and play for St. Lucia.
Yeah, that was my other point, Kenson, because when I spoke to Keddy, he said that he was available, and then he was sending his calls to the chairman of selectors. So if you're available and you're playing cricket overs, and some place like Trinidad, which always has cricket and at a higher level, and St. Lucia doesn't have cricket, or hardly has cricket, you can, if he's available, then surely he has to be at least on the training squad.
I'll tell you a joke somebody gave me on the weekend. Somebody told me they should just set up a franchise in Barbados, because all the cricket is being played in Barbados, the 40 over, the 20 over, and even somebody told me the APL, the Adventist Premier League, so many individuals are going to play the Adventist Premier League because there's no organized. I remember back in the day growing up, there's one more point before my competition that you played in. Go ahead.
Okay, national cricket. We have one tournament run by the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, only one, and they can't even finish it for the year. The Mindu Philip Premier League, that cannot even finish. You have one tournament running, only one, and you cannot finish it. So what's going on? What are you guys doing? Who is sitting there? Who is doing what? Why can't it finish? And then you're gonna come and say that guy is not being selected and that guy is not being, what's going on?
Yeah. All right, thank you so much for your contribution, Connor.
All right, cheers, guys. Jono, all the best, bro.
A number of things came up that I didn't bring up. Your actual performances in Pakistan, and you were not selected by the Stars, and even in Jamaica, I think you were the second leading scorer for the Talawas in the CPL. But we have another call. Good evening, you're live. Ready for contribution?
Hi, good evening, Kenson, and good evening, Johnson Charles. Jono, how you doing?
Good night, I'm good.
Yeah, vibe with the Y. Yes, go ahead.
Very interesting revelations. My question to Jono, having fallen out in favor with the West Indies selectors and the Cricket West Indies, one would have thought that your home, which is St. Lucia, would try to make a representation for you to get back played for West Indies. I'm not saying that one have to do it at all costs. However, one of the ways that, for me, that would have been done is to ensure that you would have been seen playing cricket for the Windward Islands.
Yeah.
However, you were subsequently dropped from the Windward Islands team. And for me, that was sending a bad signal. Following this, was any representation made by the St. Lucia Cricket Association on your behalf to try and put forward or fight a case for you, like I know some of the other islands are doing for their players?
Let me tell you, Vijay, I always have to add to what you say, and every day of the week I have to do that, because like you rightly said, from the West Indies standpoint, there was no representation, no known representation, let me put it that way, from the St. Lucia Cricket Board as to an inquiry as to why you were not selected and you know what happened. But at the Windward Islands level, you would think, considering there's Emmanuel Nanton that we spoke of, being that there would be some conversation on that level to ensure that you are at least there. And so the question is,
especially Kenson, as both of these guys are directors on Cricket West Indies.
Yeah. Again, was there any representation? Do you know of any representation being or lobbying on your behalf?
Absolutely not. I know of no representation. Like I told you, when I was dropped off the Windward side, which was actually called by the CEO and not the chairman of selectors, I was not given a reason. So
that has still puzzled me. The Windward's team, I remember saying on air, on the West Indies team, he had bad series. I could understand that. I mean, but then to not include him on the Windward Islands team, I think that is where it was head scratching.
Yeah, and not even try and make a case and make a representation on behalf of your very own. For me, that is adding more insult to injury.
And you know, I cannot really accept the fact that individuals will say they are not selectors. Only persons who do not know how this thing actually works out, the conversations, the influence that individuals can hold, would gravitate towards the fact that I'm not a selector. And even if you're not a selector, we know at the end of the day that you yield some influence. And if you yield an influence, it cannot be for one side. It has to be towards the development of your local players.
Yeah, but consider, look at the other scenario. You remember when Darren Sammy had that falling out after winning the T20, and he said what he said. Who was one of the persons who came on the media saying that what Darren said was wrong? The president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association. Yeah. He was quick to come out then, but however, he's not quick to defend our players to try and get them back in favor with selection, in my opinion.
Especially, for me, again, the opportunity was there, especially in that Windward's team, because it's absolutely egregious that he was not on that Windward's team. He did not fail at a level where, I mean, I remember growing up and there was a guy named Liam Sebastian Midget Pierre, Mr. America Midget Pierre. Liam Sebastian was average at best, and he was on the Windward's team till Thy Kingdom Come. You know why? His father, Lockhart Sebastian, they used his influence to ensure that his son remained on that team. So much so, Liam Sebastian became captain of the Windward Islands team. I mean, when you compare that to Johnson Charles, fresh from playing for West Indies, cannot make a Windward Islands team and cannot make a St. Lucia team, but something is wrong.
And then they end up making Sibo a selector. I don't know all the line. No fair.
Alright, thank you so much.
Have a good one, both of you.
Mr. Michael BGP. Of course, you could hear his voice tomorrow morning at Vibe Radio. If you don't have the Y, you don't have the Vibe. But yes, good evening, your live. What is your contribution?
Yeah, good evening.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Johnson.
Yes.
Johnson had his days, you know. This man almost put Ramlin out of the West Indies team, you know.
As a keeper batsman?
Yeah. And I don't know how this man, I don't know how he could concentrate, because to put Ramlin out of West Indies cricket, you as a wicket-keeper batsman, you have to take very, very good precaution with that. And he just dropped it like, I don't know how, I don't know what was his problem. He had his days, he had his time.
Well, John is still very young. I don't like the use of bastard.
Yeah, after man who scored like centuries in Australia, that's to be a West Indian batsman and score centuries in Australia. You have to be a top gun, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. There are other individuals at St. Lucian's that seem to have not been, or they've whispered that they've not received that support. I remember, I think Walter Badwell was the coach for one of the Winwoods team, one of the youth teams, removed. Alton Crafton removed, and I don't hear any sort of explanation as somebody who's working in the media as to why these things are happening to St. Lucian's. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Yes, good evening, Kenson, and good evening, Johnson Charles.
Good night.
A revelation tonight, but that's not new in the context of the way things has gone in the entire Caribbean, and it begs the question again, Kenson, and then I will tell Johnson Charles that it is reality. You see, people like him and Darren Sammy, Los Forest, and the lot. What I think now some of our administrators now cannot comprehend is the economics that those guys, because I mean, I am not calling to knock former players, because we have produced a string of good players in St. Lucia, and at a time, if it was like now, any of those players could have walked into the West Indies team. The current chairman, not chairman, but president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association, who has been in tenure for 10 years, he has represented the Winwoods and St. Lucia with distinction. But having said this, during their days, there was not the economics and the franchise that people like Darren can play now, and it is so sad because what has crippled West Indies cricket, it's a cultural thing, and it's something that I felt that is extremely bad, because one would have realized what transpired throughout the last 5 years, and to me it has been awful, especially underneath the stewardship of Dave Cameron. And there tonight, Johnson Charles can bring it into light. Darren Sammy has brought it up, and even renowned West Indies commentator, may his soul rest in peace, he died not at peace with West Indies cricket. I think he had a case hanging with Dave Cameron, you know, he had a case hanging with Dave Cameron, and our own late Brian McDonald did emphasize that, because when the West Indies team won that T20, they won it against all odds, and I am surprised that had not come in the forefront. And tonight, Johnson Charles, I think I must commend you for opening up, and it is something that has embedded in the Caribbean. I think St. Lucia is very much alive and well when it comes to that. It's a culture of taking mumu tablets, not speaking. Once you are able to come out and speak on issues or speak on things that affect you, people telling you is that you toe the line or draw the line. Anyway, gentlemen,
thank you so much for your
program as usual, and I think I must emphasize tonight, Kazem, that at some point in time I had said that since Brian McDonald passed, that the sports voice had passed, but I am beginning to think differently now. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. Somebody says, question for Johnson Charles, as an old schoolmate, despite all challenges faced, what can you propose that the association does to revitalize cricket in St. Lucia? I think you answered that. Pretty much said we did a change there. All right. Good evening. You're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Hi, Kenson. Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Charles. Good evening.
Good night.
I just wanted to touch on the point that people are afraid of talking on issues that are affecting them and so on. And the fact that, Kenson, you said this thing about when people are elected into positions, we seem to feel like, they're somehow a boss that you can't speak against and so on.
Yeah.
Your last caller also mentioned the fact that this is something that exists within the region. St. Lucia is not different and so on. Well, I want to say, that I am Shane Felix, president of the Fire Service Association, and I'm really moved by the fact that Johnson has stepped up and he is speaking out on the issues affecting him and being frank about it.
Yeah.
Our very own Darren Sammy as well, Those are the kinds of examples, I think, that will bring about change in St. Lucia if it is that we're really committed to seeing things done. And, the future of our country, the young persons are looking at us. And examples like Johnson and Darren is what's going to make them be motivated to, speak out on the issues. Those persons who perpetuate such actions by intimidating persons or doing anything that's going to cause persons to not want to speak out on issues, I think a time is going to come when we as a people will understand the need to bind our efforts to speak against those things, to be able to foster positive change. So I just wanted to commend Johnson on that and to ask him to keep his head up. I'm a cricket lover. I may not have the stats and so on to be able to speak on all of the issues, but just want to tell him, that kind of positivity is what's going to get him where it is that he is looking to go.
But I think, in terms of what you say, I think we need to start with the next generation, because our generation, most of our generation seem to believe that we are just powerless. They don't say it overtly, but they have the issues, and there's just this fear that if you speak out, if you articulate, or if you just decide that you need some form of change and you express it, that you will be somebody who is subject to some form of harassment or just put in a position. And we just don't have enough persons who believe that they should do what Sammy, what Jono is doing, or what the others are starting to do in our area. But thank you for your contribution, and of course we'll continue to pay attention to developments with the fire service as well.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, good evening. Yes, sir. All right. So we get some other messages in there. We have so many messages, and the calls keep coming in. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Good evening. Good evening.
Kenson, that's Mr. Sammy.
Darren Sammy, where in the world are you?
Yes. I'm on a holiday.
Okay. We are even away.
But I have to tune in.
You tell us. Okay, somewhere in the world on Facebook. All right. How's the stream? Good.
Everything is good. I'm very happy to see Mr. Charles speaking out.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. And like your previous caller said, it's important, for we as human beings not to lose our voice, not to lose who we are. And it's the same mentality we've had over the years, and you go way back to slavery, that you feel trapped in your own body, that if you speak out, the fear of victimization, the fear of what might happen to you. You see it happening in America with black people and so on.
Yeah.
And that same type of mentality we have to change. Mind you must know when to speak, and where to speak. But I'm very, very pleased to see Johnson coming out. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, you'd never see Johnson on TV. Probably last year, you'd not see Johnson on TV unless he has to do a man of the match. But he's brought up some issues, and sports in St. Lucia. I text and I ask, where are the senior players? I think some of the coaches, some of the selectors, they want the easy option. The easy option is to pick the under-19 guys, the guys who are now coming. So they tend not to question. I remember when we used to play, Gary Murphy was always one who, questioned why I have to do that, and he was not right. Glasper Prosper, was one of the first guys who always used to ask questions. And somebody like myself, coming from growing up with both parents, you know, and Clara being the disciplinarian that she is, you know, I wouldn't dare challenge authority. That was how I was raised.
Yeah.
You know, you don't question the people in power, you do as you're told. But it comes with the situation and the experience I've gained over the years, and I guess it's the same for Charles, playing, you know, at a level, seeing what a professional is about. You find yourself in a position where you could have a voice, and you're not that under-19 kid who just come in finding your way. You understand, you've been through the system, you know what it has done, what it has contributed, how it has affected you or have an effect on you.
Yeah.
So you now become that voice, and growing up in the national team, we never had that. As I'm not calling anybody down, but you know, when I was 16 years playing for the national team, you know, I didn't have that senior player who will say this is not right. We just did as we were told. But now, fast track 20 years later or 15 years later, you have these guys who used to play, and those things were done to them. They become selectors and coaches, and they're doing the same thing. They want the under-19 guys who will make their job easier, because nobody will challenge, nobody will say, Coach, I think this should be done this way, this is my view. They want full control, and Johnson said it. You know, when power makes and break you. If you don't know how to handle the position that you are in, you might find yourself in trouble. And you tell me, Johnson probably didn't say it, but Johnson was in Bangladesh. You know, this is a young man with a family. He was in Bangladesh. When I got to Dubai, he came from Bangladesh. He was in Dubai right away. So you're looking at, probably he left on the 6th of January, because I left St. Lucia on the 5th of January. He probably left for Bangladesh before me. And he went from Bangladesh straight to Dubai. And from Dubai to Pakistan, and then came back home. And he was right away playing cricket. So you cannot question his commitment to local cricket. And if he's playing at this level, you mean to tell me, if he says this is available as a coach, as a selector, you want this type of experience. He is probably at that time our senior international player on Ireland.
He would have been, for sure.
You understand? You would want that type of player in the dressing room to impact the knowledge and mix with the young under-19 guys you're looking to breed into the cricket. What you do, you make him seem like he's too big for the game. And I had that same situation. I think 3 or 4 years ago, when my finger got broken in CPL, and I was trying to get back before a tour, and I wanted to play for St. Lucia. I told them I was available. Keith Shalry and Alton Crafton at the time, they did not select me into the national team. And I was like, I don't have to prove myself at national trials to represent St. Lucia. And mind you, I'm saying this in the most humble way. I think somebody at his caliber, especially with an excuse, if he says he's available, I wouldn't dare ask anybody to miss training. But if you give a reason for you missing training, knowing fully well that I've been playing cricket all year round, just coming from performing, you would give me that level of respect that, hey, this guy can have an impact for me. You don't try and tear me down and then go on the radio, try to make it look like I don't care about the cricket. And that has been happening for years. You heard a caller mention about Gary Maffrey. Where is Keddy Lesporis? And I tell you, it doesn't stem just from they not coming to the training. Because Gaspar mentioned of Larry Edwards. He didn't come to training. He's in Barbados now. I think he was doing some fitness testing recently.
Yeah.
But you select him on the side. And I don't want to bring no personal agendas to it. I refuse to say that. But we all know it happens in our society, where some people get the favor for doing one thing and the other person don't have the same type of privilege given to them. So whereas Kenny Les Paris has been telling him his cause and doing well, Dalton Polius, Xavier Gabriel, all these guys, why are they not given the same sort of treatment? And I think growing up, I always used to hear from my community, don't go to Central Cashews, play for Miku. Don't do this. These guys will use you. But I made a decision on my own to leave Miku and go and play for Central Cashews, which I thought cricket was at its best at that time and helped me develop. But now you find cricket has gone backward. Yes, we keep on producing at under 15 level because of the work I think John Eugene and Alton Crafton are doing on the ground. But it's not because of the association. I always say it's in spite of the difficulties faced. And I'm so happy that Johnson Charles is here speaking about his experiences. And one thing I know about him, you can't tell him really you can't influence him in saying things that it is not right. Johnson has always been by the books. Even when I was captain, he said, Darren, I let my performance select me. Don't you think you have to go in any selection meeting trying to say, I have to pick Johnson Charles? And that's always been like that. If he doesn't perform, he doesn't expect to be selected. And that has been the case. So I'm just happy to hear him echoing the same things that I've been through. Some players have been through it, and it's time. Young people in St. Lucia need to stand up and speak up, because we need leaders for tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right, sir. Of course, thank you so much for your contribution. Boss, you enjoy your vacation and you're always locked on, following closely what's going on in St. Lucia. I appreciate that.
Of course, when my buddy Johnson Charles is on speaking about the hardship being done to him, I have to follow.
Absolutely.
We need change. We need change, Kenson. We need change. The whole administration, no one's fed. We need change. We need new leadership, new vision.
You know how I feel about that already. If at the end of the day nothing is being done elsewhere, and what we have is what we have. I mean, there's no other way about it. So.
I did say I'm putting my hands up.
April Fool's. Nice try. We still have 2 hours in April Fool's. Nice try. The second I saw that, I know April Fool's. All right, Tommy, we'll talk.
I'm serious, though. Take care. Good show, Kenson.
All right, thank you so much. Of course, Darren Zami, former World Cup leading, two-time World Cup winning captain, of course, former captain of the West Indies team. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead for contribution.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, good evening. You're live.
Yeah, I'm calling from Antigua.
Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, man, I've been following this story a while. Good to see Sammy on his vacation till touch base. Johnson Charles is one of my big 2020. I'm a fan of Johnson Charles. Following this sport, I was following this story a while back. I follow sports a lot. And it just don't add up from the coaching staff and the selector. They said that he was afraid, he didn't make himself available. He didn't come training. He didn't come to trial. I personally don't believe in child matches. Child matches don't because you might have a talented guy. If you've been performing, you go to a child match, you put him in a child match, you don't perform, but that don't say that this guy is not a good player.
Okay.
I'm talking for the younger players. Johnson Charles don't establish himself as a top cricketer. Why you go into a Winners Islands tournament and you don't have experience to go with the youth? The guy has been playing 20 in cricket when he's fit. He's of the standard. So why you want him come back and go through that process? You set up a program for elite cricketers. You know? And I want the Caribbean. We need to get our acts together. Win was leewards. because some people believe it's about them when they're in authority. The president come down, the last president, he believe West Indies cricket was him. Come on, he's down. Same thing with the selection and also St. Lucia and the coaching staff. Respect players and change the system. Because we have to go.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. Of course, the stream is working very well in Antigua.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Follow the webpage.
Looking forward to see my boy Jim to get into the West Indies team. They have been performing.
All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
And this sports program is when every
Monday at 8:30.
Okay, I will tune in from. I was just on Facebook and see St. Lucia Online.
Yeah. You can follow the page St. Lucia Sports Online. So once we go live, you will get a notification that we are.
I will follow it like my sports.
All
so
right.
Antigua is in touch.
All right, good stuff. All right, thank you so much for your contribution. All right. Okay, all right. Let me take in some of the WhatsApp messages because I'm pretty sure that people are sending a number of messages. Somebody says, good evening. Just a few comments, questions. Just because Johnson Charles has trained with the West Indies does not excuse him from attending training sessions with the national squad. Training with the group is a prerequisite to get picked on any squad. And I don't understand what the issue is regarding Johnson's interest in being on the national team. Based on reasons for not attending the trainings, I'm a bit iffy about his interest myself. Wasn't there an alternative or working around picking up the wife and kids? Okay, let me read that again. Wasn't there an alternative or on working around picking up the wife and kids? Couldn't it have been a situation where he would be late for training but present nonetheless? What if Mr. Charles was called to training by an overseas team? Would the same rationale for not attending national training still apply? There are several other topical issues being discussed that leads me to conclude that sometimes we must be careful not to let ego and entitlement stand in our way. What do you see? What say you?
That comment is just from somebody who basically just wants to attack, that's all. And I don't want to respond to that message.
We have another caller? Yeah. Good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution. Okay. All right. Somebody says, glad that talk is continuing. This lack of respect for athletes is rampant. When will we learn that sportsmen and women are the most important and must be comfortable and cared for? This disregard must end. Kenson, it must end. All right. Good evening. You're live. Go ahead for contribution.
I think the major problem we have in St. Lucia, with the board and everything else, is that we don't, the players' level of passion for the sport and the people on the board level of passion for the money is different. So for instance, Kenton, so out St. Lucia, we spot you everywhere, doing your football, sporting, anything. That's why for the last 30 minutes I'm trying to call the show. I cannot even get the line because you have the passion for what you do.
Yeah.
So it's different. So when you have a man like Johnson Charles, the passion for his sport, and then the people behind him don't have the passion for the sport, we're not going to go anywhere. You know, like children growing up nowadays don't even know what cricket is. Most people who go to the stadium to watch CPL is just when the crowd are going wild just for them to see the St. Lucia national anthem. Most of them don't even know what the sport is. And I know for sure, I know Johnson Charles and his entire family, these people, they live and breathe cricket. You understand?
Yeah.
So these are the things that need to be changed. You cannot have somebody with no passion for the sport and they're doing nothing and just sit down there getting paid and nobody know nothing about cricket. Cricket not playing nowhere. The children don't know nothing about cricket. Football, you watch football and football is plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
But you know nothing about cricket. You give my son a cricket ball and he will not know what to do with it but to kick it.
You kick it?
Yes, he will kick the ball.
EPL never played in your house, man.
No, I I'm saying you put on the TV, you see football. I take him to football all the time. Everywhere is football, and there is no cricket matches. Well, Sunday was the only time we get to see cricket because we went down there. Johnson Charles and his brothers had a little cricket, and for so long to see so many people coming together because of them, it was very nice.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Yeah.
All right. Somebody asked me, hey, how do I dial from India? I guess if you're listening, 1758, and then you enter the number. I don't see the number on the screen right now. I guess that's why people are calling 4880929. So yeah, 1758-451-9788 is the number to call from wherever you are in the world. All right. Somebody says Jonel Eugene is at UE playing cricket and doing schooling, performing very well. Why is he not in the national setup, may I ask? All right, good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Good evening, Kenson.
Good evening.
This is Emmeline.
Hi, how are you? Good evening. Go ahead for contribution. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead for contribution.
Oh, sorry about that. I would like to respond for for Johnson, sorry. Because I think I have understood the kind of person that Johnson is. So I don't think it's anything to do about ego. This person on the last text said that we have to be careful. But Johnson is a man of few words, and he has always been like that. And even from school, Johnson was someone who always stood up for what he believed, even if it was a silent standing up, so to speak. So him coming forward right now, it is a big thing. That's not something that Johnson usually does. He's not someone who speaks a lot. But I believe that Johnson's stance right now, it speaks volumes for young people in St. Lucia, that you stand for what you believe, and if you think that you are not being treated right, that you should voice your opinion, and we should not be afraid to do so. So I want to tell him that I'm in his corner. Kudos to you, and I'm listening.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution. Okay, so we slightly over, so we're going to take two or three more calls, and then we'll give Johnson an opportunity to give his last bit. Somebody says, Kenson, I can give you a list of the guys who went through this under Julian Charles: Alex Antoine, Moving Wells, Xavier Gabriel, Kediles Porras, Dalton Polius, Craig Emmanuel, Shervin Charles. All of these guys year-round play here and abroad, performing excellent and can't make the St. Lucia national team. All right, good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution. Hello, good evening, you're live. All right, some of the calls I'm holding on because there might be a delay based on where they are calling from. Somebody said, good evening, Kenson. Good evening, Johnson Charles. I must commend Mr. Charles for coming out. May God continue to guide you and seek guidance. It is sad that the level of cricket, it is sad what the level of cricket is here. All right, good evening, you're live. Go ahead for contribution.
Good evening, Kenson.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Charles.
Good night.
Okay, I've been listening with interest. This is Julian Charles, the president of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association.
Yes, sir.
And I've been listening with interest at the show. And I would just like to say that the National Cricket Association and St. Lucians absolutely are proud of the two stars that we have, the two cricket stars that we have. We have we have bent over backwards to assist the stars as much as we can, and there's no way that anybody in their right mind will believe that things going even remotely well. Put it another way, no one, I don't think, in their right mind will believe that once you and Darren make themselves available in any kind of way to play for St. Lucia, that you would not be playing. Well, of course, with due respect. I heard Darren said a while ago about him. I mean, to me, this is ludicrous that Darren would have made himself available to play for St. Lucia, and he was not played. I mean, that's another show. But my information is that the coaches have been in touch with you, not the coach, the chairman and selectors have been in touch with you. Even while you were overseas, he sent you a text asking you whether you are available. And all you simply said was yes. Just one word reply, yes. Okay, so he thought that you were still overseas. Then somebody told him that you are on island. He again reached out to you. This time he didn't get a reply. That's my information. Then the coach, the assistant coach, have been trying to get hold of you. I believe you told him that, yes, you are available. But the thing is, you're saying you're available, and they're not seeing you. You're not coming. You're not saying why you're not coming. When they asked you to turn up for a practice match, you went to play T20 cricket in Monrepo. They understand that you're playing T20 cricket. They still put you on the 17 without any practice with them. Then there was another practice match. You elected to go and play. No reason again. You just went to play for police. No contact with the gentleman at all. Nothing. And you were captain of the team last year. I mean, that's not how things are done. Eventually, they said, well, you're not interested. Because they reach out to you several times, you're not reaching back to them.
Mr. Charles.
The point about the volcanoes, I've heard it repeatedly said that you were dropped from the Windward Island side, as if you were unceremoniously dropped. Yes, in terms of the franchise team, you had played a series of games where you had not got a score, and you were left out. But you were a contracted player, and you were left out towards the end of the season. That means you still had your contract. The following year, they asked you whether you want to be in the protected 10. Because as you know, if you go in the draft, you are protected 10. Nobody could take you. You said you do not wish to play for the Windward Islands again. You want to be put in the draft. And as it was, nobody then picked you. And then, from the 50-over team, you played in the 50-over team that won the competition last year in Antigua. And there was a second competition in October and November. You were put on the team, you and Andre Fletcher. You were in that Windward's team. And at the last moment, the two of you left and went to play for Bangladesh, in Bangladesh. So for people to be saying that you were just unceremoniously dropped from the Windward Islands team and you perpetuating it, what can I say? I'll just pick up all the points. The point about lunch.
I'll address all the points. The
point about lunch. Said lunch was not there. I remember that well, maybe 3-4 years ago, there was one particular day when there was some operational issue with the lunch. But 90-something% of the time, just the lunch is there. I understand very well that they have had operational issues when they come to training in terms of water and preparation. I understand that, and this is a simple thing that should have been handled by the office and the relevant people. And I've repeatedly put myself out to ensure that times I myself would bring the cooler there and with the ice. But yes, these are operational issues. Yeah, and they talk about interaction with the local association. Well, everybody know you don't speak a lot, or you don't speak a lot. So when you talk about that, because you speak out, people victimize you. That's not so. You don't speak much, and the times when I have tried to talk to you, you just speak one or two words. But I know you've been in Newpark. You and Darren have been in Newpark team, and Gary Matchwell with me as an older person there. You were there from the time you were 14 and 15 years. We nursed you, we carry you all along. Don't tell me I never did anything good for you all. That for all three of you all from Newpark team that have been in 40-something years mid-West Indies side.
Mr.
Anyway.
I'm going to give you the opportunity again to come on set and to let your side out. It's my journalistic duty.
One more thing, because
quickly.
People, there was motive in everything people do. Darren posted on Facebook that as long as I continue supporting Cameron, he will do everything he can to ensure that I'm taken out as president of the St. Lucia Cricket Association. That's one motive. Second motive is that Johnson Charles was put up as Cricketer of the Year this year. And when I looked at everything between he and Larry Edwards, I thought that, looking at it from pure cricketing and what had happened throughout the season, I thought that Larry had done more. And so that because of, well, it was recalled, and Larry was put in, and I had the full support when I showed it to the executive. They said, well, clearly Larry was a better candidate. It went to the board. They said clearly Larry was a better candidate. So Larry became the cricketer of the year. So is that the motive for trying to destroy me? Thank you.
All right, a lot. I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond because, like I said, the Cricket Association, they're free to come on board at any time.
Well, first of all, Julian Charles never knows anything that's going on. I always ask him questions. He never knows what's going on. Telling me about the chairman of selectors reached out to me and asked me if I'm available, and I replied with a simple yes. If somebody asks you a question, are you available? What do you want them to say? Isn't it a yes or no question? I said yes, I am available. 13th of March. Okay, thanks. I will pass on the information to the authorities. That is the chairman of selectors, Keith Shari. 17th of March. Mind you, I'm on island already. Good evening, Johnson. Are you on island? We are due to select squad for the Windward tournaments at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground tomorrow. That is 17th March. That's the Saturday, which I don't know. There is a trial match on that weekend, right? We are due to select the squad for the Windward Islands tournament at Darren Sammy Cricket Ground tomorrow, which is the Sunday, right? I said, yes, I am on island. He says, okay, Dave spoke with me. So if Dave spoke with him, which means clearly he knows the reason why I could not come to training, right? So he said, okay, Dave spoke with me, we will talk during the week, and that's it. So when Charles, well, Julian, not Charles, Julian. So when he says that they have been in contact with me numerous times and I have not been responding, here are the text messages, you could read them. You understand?
He also made mention of the cricket of the year. The cricket of the year. What is that about?
Well, it's a story I heard, right? When I just came down, someone made mention about that to me, right? And you know, I can't really go into that since it was made mention to me and I don't really know about it. So if I don't really know about it, I won't talk about it. You understand? So if he wants, he could make mention about it when he comes on the show, and he could give you the insight. But then again, I would love if somebody else would give insight, because when he says something, it's always, you know, it means something else. You understand?
Right. Final words from you?
To everybody who wants to practice truth, there is no shortcut to it. Once you speak truth, and don't be afraid. That's what I could say.
Well, thank you so much, Jono, for being on the set. Of course, very well done in terms of your cricketing career so far, and of course, all of us here, I think all of us here would like to see you on the national team, on the Windward's team, and of course on the West Indies team once again. I think all of us want to see cricket develop, and we want to see cricket develop the right way. All right, St. Lucia, of course, those who are always on the WhatsApp platform, I'm sorry I couldn't get to all your messages tonight. Understandably so, persons were calling in to air their views, and so we had to give them that opportunity. Thank you so much for welcoming us into your households tonight. On behalf of our entire sports team, I'm Kenson Casimir. Good night. Bye-bye.